Washington, D.C. today, 200,000 people are walking for the cause of life, the annual March for Life. It's AFA Today, AFR Talk. Kevin McCullough, glad you're with us. We are reporting to you from our normal AFA Today studios in New York City. The president marked today, not to be totally surprised, the president marked today in a statement to mark the controversial Supreme Court ruling Roe v. Wade, which is why the March for Life is held today. My wife was asking me yesterday, she was like, what's wrong with us pro-lifers? Why can't we hold the march, in the middle of the summer? I said, well, because it's the anniversary of Roe v. Wade. Yeah, but you could still do it in the middle of summer. I understand. But it's important that we do it today. But in a statement marking the ruling of Roe v. Wade, today President Obama said the following: "This is a country where everyone deserves the same freedom and opportunities to fulfill their dreams." I wonder what he thinks the definition of everyone is. Here's the full statement. "Today, as we reflect on the 41st anniversary of the Supreme Court decision in Roe v. Wade, we recommit ourselves to the decision's guiding principle that every woman should be able to make her own choices about her body and her health. We reaffirm our steadfast commitment to protecting a woman's access to safe, affordable health care and her constitutional right to privacy, including the right to reproductive freedom. And we resolve to reduce the number of unintended pregnancies, support maternal and child health, and continue to build safe and healthy communities for all our children. Because this is a country where everyone deserves the same freedom and opportunities to fulfill their dreams." 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. Very strange. If I were to dissect this statement, and I wanted to very badly when I read it the last time, but I thought, no, it won't be fair to the president. I should at least read the statement as he wrote it and then go back and put my snark in it where it needed to be. Let me read to you his statement for what it actually means, not for the pretend meaning he wants you to feel about how it means. "Today, as we reflect on the 41st anniversary of the Supreme Court decision in Roe v. Wade, we recommit ourselves to the decision's guiding principle." Translated, we are never going to agree to stop abortion on demand. He continues, "that every woman should be able to make her choices about her body and her health." Every woman about her body and her health, except for unborn women that are in utero that would be born and would like to make decisions about their own body and health, but because their mom killed them, they weren't allowed to. He says, "We reaffirm our steadfast commitment to protecting a woman's access to safe, affordable health care and her constitutional right to privacy, including the right to reproductive freedom." What he means is we reaffirm our commitment to making sure that we provide taxpayer-paid abortion through Obamacare and other opportunities so that you'll continue to vote for us so that we can continue to give you these free abortions. And he says we resolve to reduce the number of unintended pregnancies, support maternal and child health, and continue to build safe and healthy communities for all our children. What he means is, and we resolve to reduce the number of unintended pregnancies, we will continue to give out free birth control, support maternal and child health by getting them into daycare centers where we can brainwash them to the ways, means, philosophy, and mentality of the left, and continue to build safe and healthy communities for all our children. Ones that we control, ones that we say are not homophobic or in any other way, religious or anything else that may somehow not allow the child to fully develop the way we believe he should develop. Because remember, we're the administration. We believe we don't even have to follow the Constitution. We can just make things up as we go along And look, if God told you that something's wrong, don't listen to God. I'm God. Listen to me. Finally, he says, because this is a country where everyone deserves the same freedom and opportunities to fulfill their dreams. Well, everyone that votes for me. If you don't support me, I don't want you to fulfill your dreams, and I certainly don't want you to have any right to say anything or speak or have children for that matter, because you're the problem, not us. That's what his statement really means, if you boil it all down. 888-589-8840. Let me go back to the phones. Let's talk to Michael in Texas. Hi, Michael. Welcome. You're on with Kevin McCullough.
Hi, Brother Kevin.
Good to have you.
Thank you for your fearless devotion to Christ and your fellowship through your pursuit of the truth, especially on this issue of life.
Thank you.
I was wondering, actually, I wanted to begin with a question. I've heard this word apologetic throughout the station and other places, and I just wanted to know, what is apologetic?
An apologetic is a defense of a belief. So if you have an apologetics class in seminary, it is a course that is built around the logical and intellectual and academic defense of those sets of beliefs. So an apologetics class would be all about a worldview and how you defend your thinking and what the rationale is that your beliefs are built upon. That's the simplest way of describing it.
I see. And thank you again so much for your information that you get for us and the service, basically. But, I got great joy in finding that joy, the Jesus, others, you. Just mentioned that pretty cool thing. But, I was thinking that whenever it comes to saving life, I try to put myself in the position of someone making that decision. I myself have many children, but the point was, I was thinking that there was just a way to approach with a empathetic heart, to maybe even, plead and then ask a question, tell them that we love them, and then, tell them that even though forgiveness would be offered, it's not. There was a statement earlier mentioned that it's already preconceived in the person's mind, to do this, and that's one of the things that just to strike them with benefits from not doing it. In other words, whether it's food or support medically, to preserve the life instead of destroy the life.
Michael, what you're describing, and I so appreciate the clarity with which you're thinking about this, what you're describing is exactly the ministry that crisis pregnancy centers, sidewalk counselors, and homes for women and children are currently employing. That's exactly the methodologies by which they, first of all, are outside of abortion clinics, pleading with the girls, helping them to understand what's going on. But it's in a very relational, it's in a very caring about the welfare of the girl setting, and that's exactly why crisis pregnancy centers are so vital, I think, to the overall health of the country. It's also one of the reasons why I think that the mayor of New York City, who has recently promised to wipe his city clean of any crisis pregnancy work, is such an abominable thing to do, because you're taking these women who inherently know that this is not the right thing to do. You never have to convince a woman that it's a bad thing to have an abortion. The woman almost always has to be talked into having the abortion, in fact. Yeah. And what we have learned from the abortion numbers, and particularly from Planned Parenthood, is that it's usually men, a man in their life, a boyfriend, an extramarital lover, a relative, a father, but someone putting pressure on the girl to not suffer the indignity of going through this unwed pregnancy, and that's really shameful. Those abortions, as far as I'm concerned, are primarily the fault of the man that's putting the pressure on. Because the woman, if she was to relate emotionally to her life and to her instinct, the way God creates them, there would not be 99.99997% of the time, there would not be an instinct to kill that child. There would be fierce protection of that child through to the very end of pregnancy. So what you're describing is actually really needed, and it's one of the reasons why crisis pregnancy centers are so effective. The women that go to them feel loved, and out of that love, they give birth to a child that normally they do want. Let's go to Alejandro calling from Alabama. Alejandro, welcome. You're on with Kevin McCullough.
Hey, thank you. First time listener, and I got to say I really love your show and your callers. I'm quite impressed. I want to tackle two things really fast. First, it's related to what the gentleman was right now saying. It's regarding apologetics and the reason for why abortion is going on. You were telling him that apologetics is also in defense of something. If we want to be in top shape, we need to not only know that this is wrong, because obviously anybody, that tries to understand it knows that it is very wrong, but also why. Mm-hmm. And a very good source to understand not only why is it very wrong, but why is it so pushed, and where does this whole agenda comes from. I remember I saw this documentary. I think it's called MAFA 21. It's spelled MAAFA 21. I think it's free on YouTube or whenever anybody wants to call it, to see it. And it details, where this whole abortion, not the whole abortion industry started, but where did the whole promotion, how it is, because it mostly started as an eugenics project, and it was based off of German beliefs. It goes back to the middle of the century when it was really pushed bad. So I encourage people to really get instructed, because it is a very false belief and a false notion, because in the beginning, it was never about the woman's choice. It was never about the woman, and it was mostly about population control and reduction of the people that they didn't want. And this is very evident to anybody. And the documentary is very specific that it quotes quotes history. It gives you references. It's just amazing.
Well, Alejandro, yes, and thank you for the recommendation of the resource. I would also encourage people that if they are confused about the origin, particularly of Planned Parenthood, who is the largest abortion provider in the country, last year, tax dollars that you and I paid to the government got given to Planned Parenthood to the tune of $540 million. $500 million we paid to Planned Parenthood so that they could then abort 334,000 plus children. Now, I don't know if that strikes you as being troublesome, but knowing that my tax dollars went to abort some 334,000 kids at the rate, and here's what we paid them. We paid them $1,653 per abortion. At the end of the day, that's pretty insidious. It's not rocket science. That's just wrong. We need to defund Planned Parenthood. We need to demand our legislators to defund Planned Parenthood. Why should Planned Parenthood be getting $500 million? Now, I know part of the reason why they get them because people like Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson and the National Organization for Women and others go out there and say, Planned Parenthood's doing all this good for women. But mainly they're just killing kids. Yeah, they give them some free examinations and they throw in some this and that or whatever. I say let them do the free this and that or whatever. But make the contingency upon getting one more dime of taxpayer money dependent upon them refusing to do abortions any longer. They'll never do it. It's their bread and butter. It's their biggest chunk of their business. 888-589-8840. But yeah, if you go back to the source of Planned Parenthood, why they came into existence, it was because Margaret Sanger, their founder, was a eugenist racist. She didn't like black people. She thought they were defective. She wanted to wipe them from the face of the earth. And so the organization that she founded, Planned Parenthood, was strategically put in black neighborhoods, sea to shining sea. Why? So that she could stop the birth of black babies. But you don't hear Jesse Jackson talking about that. Evidently, he's fine with black babies being killed. Evidently, that doesn't bother him. Evidently, that's not a concern. 888-589-8840. 888-589-8840. A couple more calls before we're done. Let's go to Bobby in Florida. Hi, Bobby. Bobby, are you there?
Hi, I'm here.
Yeah, go right ahead.
All right. I just want to comment that, Lamentations 5 describes a culture in which we live in right now. And it tells you how you got there. The elders quit seeking the gate, which means church elders stopped seeking public office, and young men quit singing their songs, which means talking about men quit honoring God in their entertainment. The church, the government, and entertainment guide the culture.
Bobby, we're losing you. I think it's the cell connection. I apologize for that. But thank you for your desire to contribute to the broadcast today. Thank you for every caller that called. Sorry we did not get Lila Rose live from the march. We'll reconvene with her at some other time. She obviously had some sort of connectivity issue today. But Kevin McCullough, fighting the good fight, encouraging you to do the same thing, and above all else, encouraging you to pray in 2014. Pray2014.com. Join us as we pray every week. And this week we're encouraging you, if you're heartbroken, seek him. Brian Fisher, Focal Point, straight ahead on AFR Talk. I'm Kevin McCullough. This is the American Family Association Radio Network.